This video is specifically on how to fill in the tech bonus forms and important points of the tech bonus form. Now, the first very important thing to remember, as with the compulsory forms, is that when you fill in your tech bonus form, it is important to have your hoop code of points with you, your poll code of points with you, depending on which discipline you are doing, or both, if you are filling in both, as well as the mid-cycle update that was released by the IPSF on the 10th of January this year. The information within the IPSF mid-cycle update will be put into the codes as the codes become available for renewal. So that would be for the hoop code at the end of this year, but only for the poll code at the end of next year. Right. So before we jump into how to fill in the forms, there is something very, very important that the athletes need to realize. Two very important things. The first being, every single athlete must submit a technical bonus form, irrespective of whether or not they wish to include technical bonuses in their competition. That's not important to the judges. What's important to the judges is that we have a specific form allocated to every athlete. How is a judge supposed to know that you intend to do no bonuses if they don't have a form that tells them that there are no bonuses happening? Okay, so please make sure that even if it's just a form that has your name and relevant details in it and a signature at the bottom with nothing else filled in, these forms must be submitted for the national competition. Now, in the compulsory form video, we filled in a compulsory form based on if we were doing pulse sports. So for this video, we are going to look at doing it for a hoop competition. Okay. So the first thing that's important to remember is, if you haven't watched the other video, pulse sports forms have the IPSF logo at the top, like this one does. All right. And hoop sports forms have the aerial sports logo at the top. Please be sure to fill in the correct form for your apparatus. The reason why this is important is because the level of difficulty changes, or the level of difficulty that is allocated changes between apparatus. Okay. The other thing that is very important is that you get technical bonus forms that are specifically for doubles, and you can tell that they are specifically for doubles because on the line that tells you what the form is, it clearly says doubles technical bonus form, as opposed to the individual forms which have, sorry, there's the singles technical bonus form written on it. Okay, so it's very important for us to be able to distinguish what it is that you are doing, and we do so by looking at the form name. Okay, so doubles and singles. Okay. So we're going to fill in a doubles technical bonus form for hoop. We did an individual compulsories form, so we're going to do doubles form so that the doubles athletes get a little bit of help with this as well. Okay, so now what happens? We've got athlete 1 and athlete 2 written at the top. So when we fill in the form, please make sure that you fill in with everybody on it. So let's imagine that I am doing my doubles routine with Tanya Bakker. So we've got Alison Jane Allard as athlete 1, that's me. And then we've got Matthew as athlete number 2. Okay. The date of the submission of the form is the date that you put on. Okay, not the day that you decided to fill it in 3 weeks beforehand, not the day of the competition, not your birthday, doesn't matter. The date is the date that you submitted the form. So let's imagine that Tanya and I, doing our routine, we've decided that we are submitting our forms a day early because we're very clever and we're not leaving things to the last minute. And what we do then is we write, obviously, the date, yes, of the 3rd, 2023. Okay, doesn't really matter how you write this. You can write the 30th of March, you can write it the way the Americans do it, but please just make sure that you put the date, the month, and the correct year of the day of submission. The country that Tanya and I live in is South Africa. The region is one of the 9 provinces. Okay, so the regions will be just the province name. Nobody wants to know about which city you come from or what suburb you stay in. It is just your province. So for us, that would be Gauteng. The federation that is aligned to the IPSF in South Africa is the South African Pole Sports Federation. So you can either write out the entirety of the South African Pole Sports Federation, like so, or you can do the abbreviation, which is the SAPSF. Please realize it's not the SAD, it's SAPDF. We are not the Pole Dance Federation, we are the Pole Sports Federation. Okay, very important. Division, Tanya and I are going to be doing amateur, right? And the category that we find ourselves in is senior doubles. Okay. So if we have a look at the hoop code, for those of you who have watched the compulsories video, this will be old information. For those of you who have not, at the bottom, at the back of the code, right, are all the competitive categories that apply to performing for hoop. I just want to get the correct page number. Nationals, the national rules, and there we are. So we've got senior women, senior men, mixed, junior, novice, and so on, masters, and then we see obviously, if you're a junior or a senior woman, you would write a senior woman, you can write 18 plus if you want to, but just indicate to us exactly which age category you are in, and then also indicate, if appropriate, specifically for pole sports, what age division you are in. I'm sorry, which gender division you are in, unless of course it's mixed, in which case you write mixed. So here we have a form now. So anything that is written incorrectly on the top half will cause you a deduction. Generally, the deductions come in because people haven't written their category correctly. So please go to the code, open the code, go to the back, find the section which speaks specifically about your categories, write your category down as it is written word for word there. Okay, variations on a theme are fine, but if you write it word for word as it is in the code, you won't get it wrong. Okay, good. Now, let's have a look at the bottom of the form. Okay, so athlete signature. So what do we know about athlete signature? Well, this is a doubles form, so therefore there must be 2 athletes signing. So therefore, Alison is going to have to sign, as well as Tanya. Let's just actually write plus Tanya. I realize I wrote Tanya's name wrong in the compulsory form. I'm sorry, Tanya. She's going to watch this and be worried. I do know how to write your name. Okay, so there's the compulsories, the signature at the bottom. Who signs as a coach? We have 2 registered coaches at the moment in South Africa. I'm sure we will have more next year. And therefore, you can only have Daniela Baker's name as coach's signature if you are the person who is training with Dan. Otherwise, you've got Caitlin Lawson, who is the only person who is registered as an IPSF hoop coach. So anybody else that you train with might be your coach. They are not an IPSF coach, and therefore do not write their name in this block. Okay. Unless the person who is filling in the form is a minor, then the athlete who is a minor would have to sign the form, and it is either their parent or legal guardian, or parents and legal guardians. If, for example, in the case of Tanya and I, if we were minors and the 2 of us had different parents, both our parents would have to sign. Okay, it's very important. Anything that isn't written that way here would cause a deduction. Okay, so it is both athletes if you're doubles. If you are juniors or novice doubles, it is both signatures of both parents unless they are siblings. Okay, and if it's an adult, you have 1 signature and nobody signs in the coach's box unless you have as your coach one of the 2 IPSF athletes, coaches at the moment. I would encourage everyone who is interested in being an IPSF certified coach to reach out to the Federation and the IPSF and find out the process of doing that. It's quite easy. So that you can sign forms for your athletes in years to come. It is really a valuable thing to have. It'll give you better understanding of the code as well. For anybody else who is interested in knowing how the code works, please reach out to the Federation or go and have a look on the IPSF's webpage on how to do or when the next Code of Points courses will be, because that will also give you more information on how to fill in the forms, but also how to use the code to your best advantage. But we're just filling in forms today. So Tanya and I have now decided within our routine that we want to do a couple of technical bonuses. So the technical bonuses that can apply to a routine are found at the front at around about page 12. Page 5. Right, so here we have the list. It's technical bonuses on page 5. We'll start with the individual bonuses for individuals. And then from there, pass on to the bonuses for doubles. Okay. You will see that the individual bonuses and bonuses for doubles are exactly the same, except that for doubles, there is a /sin written in front or behind every single one of the bonuses. So make sure if you're a doubles that you write /sin. Okay. So Danya and I have decided we're doing 2 acrobatic catches, and then after that, we're going to do a synchronized hoop drop. Okay. Straight after each other. So how would we fill that in our code? My suggestion would be, if you know that things are coming straight after each other, write them on the same line so the judges know that they need to look for something straight after each other. So Tanya and I are going to acrobatic catch, which is synchronized. And then we're going to add, and then we are going to do, and then we're going to do another acrobatic catch, which is synchronized. And then after that, we are going to do a jump off, which is synchronized. We've got a very fancy routine. Okay, so there on the line, I have now indicated that I am going to do 2 ACs and a JO. Okay, and then I write on the bonus line, do not add them all together. I write them out individually so the judges can see the point allocation for each one, 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.2. Let's imagine the next thing that I, Tanya, decide to do is we're going to do another jump on synchronized. And then 2 minutes later in the routine, we're going to do a synchronized spin. Okay. Then we will write the JO, sin, on one line. So 0.2, point value. And then we write the spin. Let's have a look at the different spins that we can get so that we can decide what we want to do. Let's imagine that Tanya and I are going to do 3 spins together, right? And for 3 spins together, it's an SP sin worth 1.0. Okay, so on our form, what Tanya and I would write here is SP sin, and we would write 1.0. There we go. All right. So the best thing to know with your compulsories, with your technical bonuses, hoop, individuals, doubles, it doesn't matter. Group that which you are doing together on the same line. So the judges know that they're looking for that in a group. It's coming one straight after each other. And then move on to the next individual thing. So if, for example, your AC, your first line, the first acrobatic catch is not immediately followed by an acrobatic catch, there is 3 moves in between, then move it to the second line, okay? So this is how we do it. Important points involves going to the code and being aware of the following. Regardless of whether or not it's singles or doubles, every definition that comes with a name of an individual bonus, for example, acrobatic catches and synchronization, the code is AC/sin, will come with the value for the individual bonus and the maximum value that is allowed on the form. Okay, so here we have acrobatic catches, 0.5, maximum allowed 1.0. What have Tanya and I written on up there? We've got 2 acrobatic catches. That is the maximum that will be allowed. Okay, so if I had to write another acrobatic catch on this form and submit it, what would happen is I would receive a deduction for the form because I have filled it in incorrectly. I have surpassed the number of acrobatic catches I'm allowed, and the last element, the last acrobatic catch, wouldn't be judged. Okay. Does that mean that Tanya and I are not allowed to put more acrobatic catches into our routine? No, of course we can. Just don't write them in the form. We cannot give you points for them, but you're welcome to put as many in as you like. Just don't write them on the form. All right. So this is how we go. But now we've got a specific situation that comes in with like, how on earth does one write a dynamic combo? And this is where it's very important, for example, to have a look at the mid-cycle update. And the mid-cycle update has an entire explanation on exactly how it is. I encourage you all, please, to go and have a look at it. Exactly how it is that one needs to write a DC, depending on whether or not the DC includes 2 individual bonuses, 1 bonus, or no bonuses at all, just 2 movements which are DC. Okay, but please go and have a look at the mid-cycle update and familiarize yourself well with the content, specifically about dynamic combinations, if you are writing them on the form and depending on how you want to write it. Okay. I'll give you the examples here. Now, the examples that I'm going to give following are examples for indication to show how to write. I'm going to use acrobatic catches as an example. Please I do realize there are too many acrobatic catches on the form if I do that, but I'm just giving examples on how to write DC. If I had to do acrobatic catch in synchronization, and let's imagine that Tanya and I are going to do that in synchronization and add, shall we do a single roll, SR, in synchronization? And then we're going to do that together. Don't ask me how, but we've decided we're doing that together and it will form a dynamic combo. Then we write the DC in brackets afterwards. When we write the numeration word, we do not have to write the numeration of the DC in brackets. If we had to write a dynamic combo, and let's imagine that it was an acrobatic catch plus something else. Tanya and I had invented a brand new something to do, and it is nothing to do with anything that is actually an individual combo, an individual bonus. But we need a second element for DC, then we will write acrobatic catch plus DC. Again, we do not put the second numeration in brackets. But what happens if Tanya and I have now so clever that we've managed to put 2 things together that are absolutely nothing to do with anything in the code, but it is a dynamic combo, in which case we would not have to specify the DC in brackets. We would just write it like so. Then your judges would know you're doing something fantastic and fast into something fantastic and fast, and they're not looking for a jump ball, for an acrobatic catch, or anything like that. They're just looking for 2 movements that fulfill the definition of a dynamic combination. All right. And this is how we fill it in. Don't add up anything on any of your forms. Don't give us your bonus totals. You don't know what you've got yet. The totals are fast to work out for you. Right. Anything that is a level of difficulty down at the bottom, you do not fill in. We will tell you what your level of difficulty was and fill it in the form. All right. So you'll see here, everything that says judges only, you do not fill in. Right, so the technical bonus forms are quite straightforward. They're a lot more straightforward than the compulsory forms. The most important things to know are that there are bonuses that apply to singles and bonuses that apply to doubles. You should use the correct bonus code. Make sure that you get your bonus value, your technical value, correct. Write them in such a way that can make sense to the judges on the day, okay? And make sure that you don't write more than corresponds to each individual bonus on the form, and write the codes out properly, please. Okay, good. So this is how one would write out the technical bonus forms. Please also remember that if you want to find out more about how individual bonuses can be done or find places to ask specific questions, do a code of points course as presented by the IPSF. It is worth the money if you are going to invest in doing IPSF competitions. So here we go, and that is the technical bonus forms.